Now, at the moment the lathe is on the move and I'm rolling it on some bits of pipe, and there's a couple of traps if you ever do this. What happens is that as you go over highs and lows in the floor, the pipe doesn't always move. So you can find yourself with two bits of pipe side by side. Oops, sorry about that. I'm just moving the pipe into position. And the other thing you've got to be really careful of is not to roll it off the edge, because then it drops and it's a pain in the arse getting it back up again. Alright, I'm going to turn it off and we'll actually I might see if I can get a camera angle that you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you'll get to see a bit here. Now see this one here, I don't know if you can see that, and I'll bring you up a bit. This one here, I can roll quite happily under my feet, so this one's on a high spot, this one's in a low spot, and the back one's just about to come out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stand in the camera. What have I done with my pry bar? The lathe's a bit far this way, or a bit far that way, so I want to bring it back this way a little bit. And I think now it's getting close to the time that I want to do it. So somewhere I've put one of my pry bars. I just need to find it. I'll turn you off and come back when I've found it. Here we are, just out of camera shot. Cool, we're on both. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll get set up and I'll put it on the deck, and by the time I get the mill right back close to it, I think that'll give me enough room to work on the mill and the shaper, and everything will blend there together. So we'll see how we go. One thing I'll show you before I put the lathe down, what I do is I put plates underneath it, underneath the bolts, underneath the jacking bolts, so that it doesn't dig into the concrete. The whole lathe weighs about 900 kilos, so we're not putting enormous amounts of weight on anything, but it's still good to have these under the jacking bolts so you get away from the point contacts. Okay, so what I've done is, before I've left the machine for the night, I've gone around to these jacking bolts here, and I've made sure that they've all got pressure on them. And we go up to the foot of that end, and so what I've done is I've made sure by doing that the machine is, when I say they've got pressure on them, they've all got an equal amount. Each pair has about the same amount of pressure on it. So by doing that, I minimise any distortion that will happen in the ways overnight. So when I come back and I set the machine up, it should be easier to set up. It should run truer, hopefully, because it won't have it won't have taken that permanent twist in it that I'll have to get out. Now that the lathe's been moved around the shed, all we've got to do is we've got to level it off and set it up again so that it machines as well as it used to. And once we've done this, we've done the lathe, what we'll do is we'll go and do the mill as well. So there's a couple of videos, and once the mill's level, then what I'll do is I'll tram it. I'm going to use a couple of things. I'm going to use my Made in China precision level, which from what I can see is pretty damn good. It doesn't get much use, but that's a good thing. It means I don't move too many machines around. So yes, Keita. So what we'll do is I'll change the camera angle, and we'll start off with a roughing level so that we get it into the ballpark, and then we'll go to the precision level. The accuracy on this precision level, actually I'll show you later on, but we'll discuss it very quickly now. The accuracy on this precision level will drive you insane. It is, each graduation is 0.02 millimetres per metre, which is 0.025 is 1 thou, and a metre is, I think, about 38 inches off the top of my head, 38 and 3/8 inches I think it is. So it is horrifically sensitive, and it will drive me insane before I get satisfied with my end result. So yep, let's turn you off, and we'll start doing some levelling. Okay, just before we start doing the levelling, I'll just show you these. These are the jacking feet, and you might be able to see they've got some tin plate underneath, some 2.4mm galvanised plate. It doesn't matter, well, not galvanised, zinc aluminum, it doesn't matter what you put under there, as long as you've got something to stop the pressure marks on the floor. And there's one up here. Now, all the ways have been oiled and cleaned, and it's all pretty good. And I've just got this laser level actually, but the laser doesn't work anymore. So you can see the bubble there is a little bit this way. Now it's the same when I turn it around, so we can be fairly confident that the lathe is leaning back. Now the other thing there too is I like my lathe dead level. It's just easier to set up. When I come this way, We're probably down a little bit on this end, and when I turn it around and check it, again we're down a little bit on this end. So what we'll be doing is we'll be jacking the tailstock end up and tilting the lathe towards me. So I'll rough that in, and I'll probably come back. Well, it doesn't matter how I do this, it's not going to be pretty. The lathe actually needs to lean away from it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, oh, that's what I wanted to feel. While I'm roughing it in, I'm reasonably coarse on my adjustments. The bed of this lathe's pretty stiff, in as much as that when I adjust one end, that looks pretty close. What I find is that if I adjust this end, it actually takes the pressure off the foot at the tailstock end, and what that tells me is that the bed is actually quite rigid, and you notice that the tension came off these bolts when I jacked that foot. So that's the sign of a pretty good lathe as far as bed rigidity goes. I'm happy with that at the moment. Now the problem's going to be, I'll tilt you up. Okay, so the problem's going to be, when I'm doing this, is that we've got the tailstock end this side, we've got the headstock end this end. Now, as I jack the tailstock up, what's going to happen is it's going to take the load off the inner bolt at the headstock end. I won't say the inner, the one closest to the centre. It's going to take the load off that. And so what that means is every time I make an adjustment at the tailstock end, I've got to just put pressure back on that inner headstock bolt. And that goes for both sides. So might change the camera angle and you might be able to see me do it.